This is going to be a talk about Netiquette at Midlands Technical College, especially in the DVS. What we're going to talk about is based upon the work of Arlene Rinaldi, and this is for the fall of 2014. What you're going to find is that netiquette is the term for the proper way to respond and/or act online. We'll look at 10 rules of netiquette that everyone who goes online should follow, and you should try to remember them every time you go online. Remember the human. Okay, remember you're communicating to real people when you're online. Sometimes we forget that there are other people there and we do or say things that we may regret later. It brings people together who might otherwise never meet. If you're doing an online course, you might be doing it with someone in Afghanistan at the same time. And the anonymous nature of the internet makes it easy for people to say or type things you would never say to someone's face, much the same way as we do with texting or with tweeting. Remember this saying when using the internet for any reason. Would I say this to the person's face? Would you say, Lambden, you're a jerk? Ha, probably. No, just kidding. You probably wouldn't, so don't type something like that. Number 2 is adhere to the same standards online that you follow in real life. So sometimes you even need to behave better than you do in real life while you're online. People are judging you based on what they see, and of course, well, we're looking at you from the post that you're making. And you need to remember that you can get caught doing things you should not be doing online just like you can in real life. Even if you delete things, there's still a ghost or a shadow that people may be able to call up. Hard drives can be subpoenaed and all material traced. Should something bad happen, the school and the people that it happens to do actually have the legal right to trace your material. And it's important you're still that you know you're still talking to a real person with feelings even though you can't see them. So if you read a post that you might think is not the best post you've ever read, there are ways of saying that. You probably shouldn't say you have to be the stupidest person ever. Just don't say or don't type something that you wouldn't say to someone. And know where you are in cyberspace with the cool graphic going across the top there. All right, get a sense of what the assignment is before posting. Sometimes we post things and in retrospect wonder why we posted that. Look at instructions carefully, make sure you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. If you do struggle a little bit in understanding it, you can contact me, or you can look at other posts, or you can contact people who are posting. Never post in anger. This is called flaming. And also be careful with jokes. What you think might be funny out loud doesn't translate very well when you write it. Also try to respect other people's time and bandwidth. Remember, people have other things to do than read what you are writing, and you are not the center of their world. Keep your posts to a minimum by saying what you want to say, and indeed, that's what you need to do. And remember that everyone won't answer your questions. If you send me a question, I try to have it answered probably within 5 or 6 hours, hopefully sooner, but within 2 days, definitely. Don't shout using all capitals. My mother-in-law types all of her emails shouting at us, and it drives me nuts. Just something you need to know about my mother-in-law. Ha! Okay, try to make yourself look good online. I just didn't by saying something about my mother-in-law. Remember to always check your spelling and grammar before posting. Always know what you're writing about and make sense saying it. Be polite and pleasant to everyone, not just me. One thing I want to go back here very quickly and look at is spelling and grammar. When you're posting, if there is a squiggly red line under it, there's a good chance you've spelled it incorrectly. And sadly, Microsoft is smarter than pretty much anyone I know, including me, and it probably knows better that you have misspelled a word. Sharing your expert knowledge. If you have questions, ask them online. Share what you know online, and post the answers to your questions online because someone may have the same question you do. In other words, if you need to find out something, ask. You can't get an answer unless you've asked. Limit the flaming. This is the shell to express your displeasure or disagreement with a topic, a classmate, or another response. As I told you before, you need to respect your classmates as well as all people who are online with you. It doesn't forbid flaming. I mean, you can disagree, but disagree tactfully and politely, if you will. Okay? Be courteous. And it does forbid you from flaming to hurt discussion groups by putting the group down. In other words, you shouldn't. There's certain phraseology that I shouldn't have to remind you not to use. If you think you probably shouldn't post it, you probably shouldn't post it. Respect other people's privacy or privacy and their opinions. Opinions are indeed one of the great things about America, although we might not be able to opine as much as we wanted, as much as we used to. Do not read other people's mail without their permission. Don't pick up your better half's phone and look at their texts. Going through their people's things could cost you your job. This is if you're in the workplace, or you could even go to jail. You don't have much opportunity to do that here, but that's just something you need to know for future reference. And if you don't respect their privacy, you're not being a good netiquetter with that. Being disrespectful about other students is inappropriate and won't be tolerated, and we'll deal with it. We have a means, and if you look at the syllabus, you will see what happens if you are asked to, quote unquote, leave the class. Avoid controversial word choices. There are certain words you should never type, certain words you should never say, and that are so offensive we can't even say them. You probably want to stay away from those. Don't abuse your power or your knowledge. Okay? Don't take advantage of other people just because you have more knowledge or power than they do, according to them. Even though the Gamecocks have won 5 in a row against Clemson, don't say anything about that. Treat others as you would want them to treat you. In other words, be kind, as we've talked about. And finally, arrogance is still arrogance. I don't know if you've dealt with arrogant people before. I'm sure you have. Nothing is, well, there's worse things than arrogant. Don't talk smack. And be forgiving of other people's mistakes. Don't point out mistakes online. If someone misspells a word or makes a mistake, let me take care of it. You don't need to do that. Okay, and there's a chance you're going to make a mistake sometimes, so please be courteous. And you need to have good manners even though you're online and can't see the person face to face. All right? Don't use the computer to harm people. Don't interfere with people's work. Don't look at other people's files. Don't use the computer to steal. Don't use it to lie. Don't violate copyright infringement. That didn't make any sense. Don't take things that you shouldn't. Okay? Don't use other people's resources. Don't plagiarize. And think about what's going to happen when you write something and use computer in ways that shows consideration and respect. Okay, if you're texting, don't use texting language, no laugh out loud, smiley faces, etc. So in a nutshell, be courteous, know your topic, and before you push enter, make sure your posts are grammatically correct and polite. Don't shout, limit flaming, and note, if you will please, you're responsible for all your posts. Here's what happens if you are acting in an unstudently way, and if you have to deal with any of these wonderful vice presidents or campus life program coordinators, it's not a pleasant thing. Finally, make the best out of technological opportunities provided. This is a cool thing. Do your best and work hard. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to call, email me, text me, page me, send a carrier pigeon, and I will enjoy seeing it. Thank you very much.